Wait, let's say our pronouns real quick. I'm a he.
I'm a starfish. You and I are sick.
You walked into a lion's den.
You wouldn't know that it was human meat until they said to you, human carpaccio.
When I think about eating people, not only do I think about how they would taste, but I also like to think about their personality.
Walked into a lion's den.
Just call me my guy and we're good.
Yeah, call me my dude. That's it. You sound like the dumbest robot made.
I am the dumbest robot.
Thank you for listening to Splittin Hairs. On this podcast, you're gonna learn about yourself. I'm Ashlynn Salzano.
My name is Chris Metcalf.
We're all lizard people anyway. I'm just gonna get it off my chest, man. I watched a Chyna documentary, right?
Coronavirus China? Which China? Country China? Wrestler
How
China?
long have you been holding that joke in?
I wanted to get it off the table first.
Because how long have you been holding it for?
Honestly, not because I didn't know you were like the way you just said it. Because the listeners could be like, wait, what China documentary? Because China's hot right now.
Well, if they don't know what Chyna documentary I'm talking about, they better stop listening.
China with a Y, baby.
Yeah.
That's the China, right? Isn't that how she spells it?
Yeah. The great old wrestler Chyna. But I watched it, and if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. It's on Vice. And I watch it illegally. So however you watch it. But I watched it, and it was like, it broke my heart. Like, I felt like I went through a breakup.
Okay, so you're gonna have. So I have like my like street knowledge and personal know-how of Chyna, but I don't know any like heartbreaking story other than she died very young.
Street knowledge. Please tell me what street knowledge of wrestling this is.
Street knowledge, yeah. Her criminal past and shit, yeah.
Yeah, street knowledge.
No, just more like, that she was like a very prominent female wrestler. She like was like, she was like married to or dated Triple H for a while. Mm-hmm. I didn't see the documentary. I've seen some of her other non-wrestling films before.
You're such a grown-up.
Yeah.
You're such a grown-up. Oh, my God.
Yo, she's hot.
No, I don't care, but it's the way you're like, I knew that when you were like, oh, yeah, the porn. We got to talk about the porn. And then right now, the way you're saying it, too, you're
I
like.
wasn't talking about the porn. She did some silent films.
No, you watched them in silent.
The porn. Yeah,
No, you watched them in silence. It was like really. I mean, the whole story of Chyna is really heartbreaking. The country and the wrestler. No, but
I was at what? Yeah. Well. It's funny you say that because the one thing my personal like note about her when she passed away was like. I was so mad at the time because all people cared about was Prince dying, and nobody was talking about Chyna dying. She died like either like right before or right after he died.
It's the rule of threes. They say celebrities die in threes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you never heard of that?
No.
Yeah, they say that celebrities die in
Who was
threes.
the third
So
at that
I bet
time?
you someone died around them.
Oh, really?
It's like remember when like Michael Jackson died? 2 other people died too. There's like a rule of 3 when it comes to celebrities.
Interesting. All right. So.
But I watched it and it was like super heartbreaking because you see like what wrestling did to her, like what the federation did to her, and it was like, I'm calling it federation because of the WWF. Right? I refuse to call it
the federation.
I refuse to call it WWE.
Why? Because at the time was it WWF when she was in it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think now it's WWE.
Yeah, because it's
like entertainment.
Yeah,
like,
Disney owns it now.
Yeah, which you can tell, right?
Right, yeah, totally.
But what they did to her was just like heartbreaking, and you kind of know like women have it hard in every industry, especially when it comes to like a male-dominant industry.
Right.
And just like the shit that I don't want to like go through it and all of that, but just like...
Oh, you didn't want to do the slideshow of Chyna's life story?
I was going to play it, actually. Our segment today is I'm going to play the whole documentary, and I'm going to give comments the whole time.
And sit in silence while we watch.
But it was like super... I was like, no! It was like, fuck you! Like I can't believe I like... Because then why I felt guilty is because, they're like, nobody wants to see a woman wrestling like that big. Because, her figure. And then she was wrestling men. And it was like this whole thing of like, do people want to watch men get beaten up by women. Not really, right? It's like that whole that's the problem she had with Vince McMahon and all of that stuff, right? So my favorite though was The Rock. So I feel like a traitor because I wish I would have kind of like fought for her more, you know?
But what would you have done? Fought for
her. Save her life, obviously.
I love it. Like you just come out of the audience, like jump over the thing. And you're like, I'm here for you, Chyna.
I'm like 7 years old.
Yeah.
I have a backwards cap because
I
of
know
course
more
I do.
now. Yeah.
But you know, it's just kind of like she died, and you know they always say that like
How'd she die again?
overdose.
Okay. That's not good.
What did you think?
Well, I don't know. Maybe she had like a heart attack, like on the treadmill, or you know what I mean. It's like
Right,
OD.
right.
That's like
Yeah. It was just you said it, so
Right.
you were like, "What did she die again of?" Like old age.
Yeah.
In her
That
sleep,
wrestling
she had a
does
heart
stuff
attack.
to your joints.
Yeah, that's it. Just your joints, not your brain.
Yeah.
But they did all that shit, and I was just kind of like, fuck. Like, I know that it sounds stupid, like I could have done more, but I just felt like, as a girl, like I let her down, you know? Because my favorite it was The Rock. It was 100% The Rock.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because because obviously you messaged me. You're like, yo, I watched a China documentary. I want to talk about the show, and I was like, hell yeah. And I started thinking about I was like, Chyna. What do I remember about Chyna? Right, like, she's hot. I would love her to like body slam me. I'd be into that. But then also like, I remember I was like, yo, she would wrestle with the guys.
She was the Continental champion.
Right. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, but like now there's like the women's, like, they do some crossover stuff now.
Well,
but like then it was just like, it was like when Jackie Robinson played in the White League. You know what I mean? It's like, she's in there with the fucking guys.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was like.
Yeah.
No, but
you know what? And it's a bad one because now it's not like mixed now. Like now it's not like women and men wrestling together all the time.
Right, they still kept it separate.
They got it more separate.
Yeah.
So actually they should have separate ones.
Yeah. But remember, like, she also, like, they made her go backwards. Like, she was wrestling men, but then they made her wrestle women afterwards. Like, whatever. I don't want to talk about the documentary, but.
Well, it's also funny, too, because, and I'm not saying it's fake in the sense that you guys aren't doing the stunts for all our wrestling listeners, but they are curated matches. So they really could do, like, men and women mixed.
But
and
it's
just
not
still have
believable. If you have like this little Chyna was so big, bro, that if she like fucked up Stone Cold Steve Austin, you'd be like, I can see it. That's a big bitch. You know, like, I know all of it is not believable, but they need to make it at least trick your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like you can't just have like some 125-pound girl wrestling the Undertaker and then she wins,
I don't know. I guess like I'm imagining like cool like moves because they're faster and more nimble than like than the Undertaker.
You're thinking of like a fucking ninja or something.
Yeah. Yeah, kinda,
Yeah. No, but it's not believable. I know that it's like none of it's really believable.
No, yeah, right. Yeah.
You at least gotta like fake it, right?
Yeah. So you think Bad Bunny's believable? When Bad Bunny comes in and takes down one of these huge guys?
Yeah, I mean, because you're watching your mind. Because there's a thing about it's like watching a movie, right? It's like you're yesing it. You go into it wanting to yes it, right? Like when you go in a movie and you're like, that wasn't even believable, and you're like, it's a movie, like
right.
That's a green screen. But sometimes you see a movie, right, and you're like, yo, that movie was fucking great, even though it was ridiculous, like because they kind of kept it grounded in some form of reality, right? When you go to a movie theater, you're like yes-anding whatever you're gonna see,
right? You
know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
If not, you wouldn't be able to really enjoy anything.
Yeah.
When you're watching wrestling, you're kind of like, yeah, I know it's fake, yeah, well, whatever, but I still want to like.
I think I'm just like hung up. I really just think that they should have more Chynas mixed in there.
No, I agree, but that's just what they were saying in the documentary.
Right.
That Chyna was cool because she made it believable.
Right.
That's like what a lot of people were saying. Like the other wrestlers were like, that was the great thing about her.
Right.
Was that you can look at her and really be like, yo, she can fuck up any guy she wants, you know? But I remember The Rock being my favorite, and I remember, like, I didn't have anything, like, my sister was big into Mickey Mouse.
Okay.
And, like, yo, when a girl loves Mickey Mouse too much, run, you know?
I think anybody who's too into Disney,
Yeah.
girl or guy,
Yeah,
run.
yeah, like, under the age of, like, 9.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's when it all starts to, like, you either start to get to movies, video games, you start to, you know, switch
Grow up,
fashion,
yeah,
right?
be
Like,
into adult things.
but my sister was, like, 16, right? And she had, like, a Mickey Mouse quilt. And she had, like, every year people gave her, like, Mickey Mouse balloons for her birthday. And they were, like, deflated. She would save the balloons and tape them. Remember when people, like...
What's weirder, being really into, like, of all the Disney characters, what's the weirdest one? Because, like, Mickey Mouse is, like, an interesting one because he's, like, like, he's, like, it's not even, like, a princess, like, a relatable princess to your sister. It's, like, Mickey Mouse. Do you know what I'm saying?
I guess he's weirder because it's, like... He has no character, right?
Right.
Like if you're like, yo, I really love Bugs Bunny. You're like, oh, I get it. He's sarcastic. He's a smart ass, right?
Yeah. But like Mickey Mouse, he's like androgynous. I don't know if I'm using that word right. He's like a eunuch. Like he's just like he is a guy, I guess, but he's just like, I'm just nothing's like me.
Yeah. But I was like into Tasmanian Devil.
But that I get more.
Right.
I get that with you. But like I've met your sister a couple times. She's not like, hey, Chris. Like,
I kind of wish she was, because that would explain everything then. Then you could be like, I get it. You want to be like Mickey.
Right.
But more it feels like you want to fuck Mickey. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of weird. But I remember, so my sister had all of that, right? She had, and I liked the Tasmanian Devil, but I had his quilt because we got it from like
you're
Disney.
a Warner Brothers kid.
And not even. I wasn't going to put like Batman posters, right?
Right,
What the fuck? This is fucking weird.
Yeah.
And I'm younger than my sister too, and I know it's weird, okay? And I remember when The Rock came, it was like, move over, Mickey. Like it was like, I fought for that wall. Like, we had to split it in half because we shared a bedroom. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. You are getting rid of Mickey out of my section. And I put like The Rock posters everywhere. Like, it was crazy.
What was it about him that you were just like, this is the dude? Like,
It was just, he was speaking riddles,
yeah, asking the questions.
Yeah.
Asking questions that really no one had answers to
Like,
be honest with you.
do you smell what he's cooking?
Like,
no. I can't.
No, I have no clue what it smells like. First of all, I'm not even at the stadium, the arena right now. I'm at home. So I definitely can't.
Yeah.
And even if I was there, like, I don't even know that I would be able to smell.
But it was the confidence in which he said it. If someone was like, do you smell what I'm cooking? You're like, get the fuck away from me, you weirdo. But when you're like, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? You're like,
what did people, was that a call and response where people just like, Pico de Gallo! Like, like were they screaming shit? Barbecue!
Enchiladas!
Yeah.
Like a pernil! Like, is that Maduros? Is that Maduros?
Is that a foie gras?
Yeah.
Is The Rock cooking foie gras? Oh, man, that classy motherfucker.
Is someone grilling burgers?
Yeah. Is that a burnt burger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was cool like that. He could get away with that shit,
Dude, that's so... And so he would just say that and people would just go bananas.
He would go like... Because this is something, too, that I wanted to talk about. I didn't know that you watched... We've never talked about it, really, you and I.
What?
That you've watched wrestling.
When I was younger.
Yeah, and I didn't know. So when I brought it up, I was like, these are just things that I saw. I don't know if you watch wrestling. And then when you were like... Because you did... the generation before me.
Yeah, so we talked about this. So mine, the generation that I was like primarily into, and when I was like really into
Chris
it.
decided that we needed another laptop because this one wasn't enough.
Then pull up.
No, this one wasn't. We need like 7 laptops. If you guys could sign up to our Patreon.
We need more.
We have a Kickstarter. We have a GoFundMe.
For more laptops for
Yeah.
the show.
We just want laptops on laptops on. We don't want gold chains. We just want laptops.
Yeah. If you do, I think I just Googled like WWE eras or generations, and then there's like a wiki, like
timeline.
On the wiki. Maybe, yeah.
Let's
and
see.
then it had.
There you go.
Okay, so yeah, I think in the wiki they have like whatever. We go to it later, but
Yeah.
so mine's the golden.
No, yours the new generation.
The new generation era, and that's like when it was like the guys were like Sergeant Slaughter,
Yeah.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Jake the Snake,
Randy Man Savage.
Well, I think Randy Man.
No, he was.
Well, but he might have been from the golden age into the new.
But he was in the new generation, but
Yeah.
like at the end of his ropes, I think, right?
No, I think he got like because that's some of them like carry through the years.
But he didn't go into the Attitude Era.
No, he did because that's when he was doing NWA. Remember that when they all had the black shirts?
Oh yeah, but okay, but NWA wasn't really that famous.
I guess
That was like
I don't
Goldberg. Okay,
It kept changing.
They were like the second class. You graduated and went to like WWF.
Yeah.
Like, I
there's
remember
some
when-
wrestling person watching this going nuts right now.
There are also people who are normal and like, shut the fuck
Right, yeah.
up.
And we're somewhere in the middle.
Shut up. Talk about something real.
Yeah.
Are we going to brunch tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you started watching, you were watching the new generation era?
And I was a little kid, so it was like, to me, it was like I had like the ring with the action
Same.
figures and the toys. Like I had the Jake the Snake where you'd like pull back the arm and he had like the punch.
Yeah.
I feel like the new generation era was a lot of like guys had like props. Like
Yeah.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan had a 2x4. A guy had a snake. The pallbearer, he had a sidekick with the thing.
Yeah.
The music, what was his name? The Music Man something. He always had a guitar that he would
Right.
smash on you. They all had like, it was very gimmicky.
But now that you look at it that way, right? Because when I didn't know it was the Attitude Era, like, until they said it.
Yeah,
Suck it. Remember that with D-Generation X?
Yeah.
And which was included Chyna. She was like
Right.
It was her, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H.
Suck it. Chyna's doing it.
She's doing it better than them. That's
Suck
Triple
it.
H. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Shawn Michaels. He was like the little,
Goldberg could never do it because he was too big. He'd be like, suck it.
Yeah. And remember we were talking about Goldberg and how like people didn't want to like wrestle with him because he was rough. He didn't respect boundaries. He
Right.
like really was hitting people really hard, and like people talk about it like nobody wanted to fucking play with him. Like nobody
Right.
wanted to fight with him.
With a last name like Goldberg, I'd like to think that off the ring, he was like, guys, what are we doing after the matches?
Yeah.
L'chaim.
Yeah.
Who wants some schmear after the match?
Yeah.
Pull these tacks out of my arm, Chyna, and let's get some gefilte fish.
And yeah.
I'm Goldberg.
Yep.
You like my traps? All right,
Yeah.
I'm done.
No, we needed more of this. The people have been asking. But I didn't even know mine was the Attitude Era until they said it.
Right.
They said it and I was like, that makes sense. Everyone had a fucking attitude.
Yeah, Stone
But you don't even
Cold.
see it. You
Yeah.
you don't even see it, like,
Because it's of the times.
yeah, and you're like watching it from like, like from out here, and they know what's going on.
Right.
They know that they're creating this like Attitude Era,
Right.
And you don't really know. You're just like, oh, he's badass.
Right.
But it is. It was an
Everyone's a
Attitude
tough
Era.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool because I was like, yeah, like The Rock had an attitude, like asking people, if they know what he's cooking, like if they can smell it.
Right. Did he have another line too?
He had the jabroni.
Okay.
He had Poo-Tang pie. Remember that?
No, see, he didn't
had the
do it for me.
eyebrow stuff.
I remember him, but he was like kind of like a villainy kind of guy. Like he didn't do it for me. I was also on my way out with wrestling at that time. Like he was kind of like it was weird, right? Because like at the time, was he like a? Because maybe they stopped doing that where like guys were good or bad. Everybody just was kind of like morally corrupt, I guess.
He was like the good. He was like compared to everyone else. I think he was like the goody two shoe.
Right, like he was like a good guy. Like,
yeah, because like Generation X was just like degenerate,
white trash kind of. Yeah,
You're not even just like white trash, just like trash. Like they were degenerates and they were like suck it, and everyone knew they were doing drugs, and like they were. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin was like drinking and like just being like fuck it, you know. Right. But I felt like The Rock would come with like a button up. Remember, like to his like still showing his chest, but I felt like he was like the straight edge of that era.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
It's also like who the villain is the person who's against your favorite in wrestling.
Well, yes.
Because I think they stopped writing it that way.
Well, right. And again, I think that's like a thing like when I was watching, there was like Hulk was like the good guy.
Yeah, I think they stopped doing that.
And then there was like bad guys. And then there was guys like when they did like Sergeant Slaughter, he was always like fighting for America. And then he would always fight like the Sheik, like who was like a terror. You know, it was very racist at the time, but it was like the terrorist guy. And then there was like a time where like they in the story wrote that Sergeant Slaughter defected.
And turned into a terrorist?
Like, yeah. So then he became, like, bad, you know?
Yeah.
You know who was one of my favorite, too, who was such a fucking trash fucking wrestler, especially towards his end because he was a fat guy, was the Boss Man. He was basically just like a cop. Like, he was just like a cop, and he had just like a baton.
You're not talking about The Big Show.
No, look up, like, I think his name was the Boss Man.
Oh, okay.
But he was just, like, basically just like a cop.
Man, you remember Rashiki?
Wait, vaguely.
He was the wrestler that would put he was fat and he would put his ass in your face.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he would put his ass on your face as like a finishing move.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I bet guys are like, oh man, you take a Rashiki ass to the face yet, dude? Everyone's got to do it.
Or they're just like, who you fighting tonight, Rashiki? Man, your upper lip, dude. Yeah, just come to me. I know a good wash. Technique. Come to me.
Do you remember when they did, when they were doing the body slam or like the choke slam of Yokozuna or Yokozuno, whatever? Mm-hmm. He was like he was one of those sumo wrestler guys. And it was like at like an outdoor thing. I'm sure they did it more than once. And it was basically like different wrestlers coming up and trying to like fucking chokeslam him, but he's so heavy that they couldn't.
Yeah.
And then like I forget who did it. It was like this all-American fucking wrestler. Again, some wrestling fans losing their mind right now.
I think they try to do that with the Big Show too. Do you remember though when like the cage match?
Yes.
With like Mick Foley and Undertaker. And, like, it became this whole thing where, like, nobody could really beat Mick Foley in the cage. It was just, like, fucking weird because he does not get beat at all. Like, he'll get beaten up, but he's getting up and getting up and getting up. There were some crazy ass.
They don't do that shit anymore. And remember we were looking up the generations, that one called the PG era?
Yeah.
Because now the shit's like Disney Channel shit now.
Well, that
like, when they would like cut their head a little bit to like make the blood and like we were talking
a lot. Mick Foley was like covered.
He used to do the Japanese wrestling where they would body slam each other into like plate glass on stage and hit each other with barbed wire. Did you ever see that shit?
That's why he used to have. Remember, he had like 3 characters though. He had Mankind, Mick Foley, and Cactus Jack.
Yes,
and he had like 3, and I think Cactus Jack had the bob, if I'm not mistaken,
something like that. Yeah. But like he would.
Chyna did like I don't know if it was Japanese, so I'm gonna say Asian. It was like Asian wrestling, and it was like more real, and she did it versus a man. And it was real.
I don't know if they must still do that over there. Yeah. Because it was like professional wrestling. It was like professional wrestling meets backyard wrestling.
Yeah.
But it was like the same shit they would do at backyard wrestling, but like actually at like a WWF event.
I remember that like the person that like I was leaving and like I was done with wrestling. I remember the person who like kind of was like, yeah, this is over for me. It was Kurt Angle. You remember him? He started that whole like good guy stuff.
That was when we were looking at eras. That's the name of one of the eras where they're almost like Olympians and shit.
Yes, he was an Olympian.
Yeah,
a gold. Whatever. Yeah, I think he won a gold medal.
That's when John Cena came around too, who's now back in the fucking news with that whole Taiwan fucking thing. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yo, so. He did some event or he was in some interview because you know that like WWE is like huge in China, right?
Yeah.
And do you know about how like China doesn't recognize Taiwan? Mm-mm. So I'm not even gonna try to explain. But basically, like, China used to own Taiwan. Taiwan went independent. China does not recognize Taiwan. Like, if you say to, like, a Chinese delegate, if you bring up Taiwan, they just wait for you to say something else or change the subject. They do not recognize
Like if you
it.
said nothing at all.
Right. It's like when you were younger and someone's in the room, you're like, hey, everybody, just ignore Kate when she comes in and pretend she's not here. And they're like, what? Did someone think that they heard Kate?
Yeah.
That's like what the Chinese do with Taiwan. They're like, did someone say Taiwan in here? I didn't hear that. Weird.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. So he said something. He was like, oh, because I think they did like a show in Taiwan or something. And he was like, I want to thank Taiwan, whatever. And then like recently did a press release, spoke in, I think, Mandarin or Cantonese or some shit in Chinese, which, by the way, Vince McMahon gave John Cena Chinese lessons to anticipate their spread of the WWE into China. And he gave an apology to China for saying Taiwan and recognizing Taiwan, which here in the United States, we recognize Taiwan and its independence, but China doesn't. And here's fucking John Cena apologizing to China for saying Taiwan in Chinese.
I mean,
yeah. And we were talking about how, like, earlier, like, it seems like wrestling, like, it kind of reflects the trends of the times. Like you were saying, oh, everyone had an attitude. It was like coming out of the 90s, early 2000s, you know, all that, you know, it's like things were hacky before that with the gold, with the new, you know, it's like now it's like all hail China, John Cena.
well, it's not even that. It's just like John Cena is such a little bitch boy that like doesn't surprise me. Like he just did what needed to be done for his job. That doesn't even seem like a...
But doesn't that feel weird to you, though? Like, to be like, hey, China, sorry about saying Taiwan.
Does it feel weird to me that this man who plays make-believe every day as a job and goes into a different character is apologizing to, like, one of the main places? No, like, he's just kissing ass. You know, he's gonna, like... I guess you know what it is,
but
too?
I guess it's not about, like, him. It's less about him and that and more just, like, what it says to, like, the power of China, really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
At least that's what people are kind of saying, like...
I don't see it that way.
Yeah,
no, I'm serious.
Yeah,
no, seriously.
That's fine.
Like,
I'm just saying.
I see it like a company, like, and I get it's fucked up. I'm not saying, like, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, like, I can see, like, how a company like that, like... His company clearly told him, yo, go fix that. And like a little bitch boy, he did. Like, I don't think that that's like, I'm not saying it's right. I think it's wrong. I'm just saying, like,
it would be funny.
No, I don't respect the WWE. Like, if you watch, like part of the thing too was like that China has never been in the WWE Hall of Fame, which is fucked up because she's like, honestly, like, she was as big as The Rock when he came out, and The Rock was, like, everywhere. And, like, not that he was the best wrestler, but he did, like, the mainstream stuff, right? Like, he was, like, the guy you can tame and put in mainstream and put in movies, as we see now, you know?
Right.
And like, he knows how to behave himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not gonna do drugs and be on the road drunk. Like, that's kind of, like, what they did. And I'm not saying all of them, but, like, he was... A lot of them. But he was like the guy you could make a face of. You know what I'm saying? And they did that with Chyna. Like, Chyna was huge. Like, everyone knew her as, like, the ninth wonder of the world. You know what I mean? Like, that's what they fucking called her. And then she's not even in the WWE Hall of Fame. And they were saying, and this is what I'm going to connect it. They were saying that, like, it came up in an interview with Triple H. And he was like, well, she's done porn. So if my son, like, looks her up... He goes to the WWE Hall of Fame. He's like, I've never heard of Chyna. I'm like, your son didn't hear of Chyna and you're Triple H and like he has to go Google her. I'm like, you're a piece of shit friend. Cause you know, they were like what like me and you are, like going on the road together and stuff like that. Like, yeah, they dated. And I mean, you wish, but like never. You dream of it, but like never. But no, you know, they were like that close and like your
Wait,
kid,
Triple H said that?
Yeah. Because she did porn and he didn't want his son. Fuck you. Like, who do you think
What about
you
all the
are?
other paths of these other wrestlers?
Most of them beat the shit out of their fucking family.
Some of them wrote books about their crazy stories and fucking fucked up shit that happened and went on.
But that's why I'm just like, and they will put. That's why I'm like, I'm not surprised that happened with John Cena. You know, they're pieces of shit. They're all like fucking fabrication. You know, it's like the facade.
Well, they're all like in. I'm assuming they all work in like the business side of it, like the corporate side of it now. You know what I mean? Because those guys aren't like wrestling anymore.
Triple H isn't, but he's married to Vince McMahon's daughter.
But he's like wearing a suit and like, will come down sometimes. I like he's like one of those guys I feel like they could never get their fingers around the mic. He's got those big like chubby like they just got a few.
But yeah, I mean that's why I'm not surprised about what happened with John Cena because they're fucking fake like that. They're pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And I used to love them, and now they're pieces of shit to me. How dare you do that to a woman?
I just, it's like weird that they have to be these like new role models now. It's like, because back in the day it was just like,
yo. Have to. That's a lie. That's
but that's what it's become. But that's like the thing now. Everybody.
I feel like it's the thing when it favors them. I don't feel like it's the thing.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
Like that they need to be I'm like what I'm saying is like it's dumb. It would be the same thing as like if suddenly like all comedians had to be role models for kids. You're just like these guys are beating the.
But I think the corporation is doing that to their wrestlers.
Absolutely, yes.
But I don't think that if you're a wrestler and you've beaten your wife, I don't think Triple H is gonna be like, sorry, bro, we're role models and we just don't do that. It's whatever benefits them.
Sure.
So it's like role model. It's like you have to. I don't think it's a role model-ish. I don't think they're like taking the highway and being like, no, we only deal with like good people now. I just think it's their whole bullshit. Like they were like, let's not fuck with Chyna. Send that apology. Oh, you know.
They just like however they want to make the legacy stand. Right. Yeah.
But I remember like that shit used to get me so hyped, and I remember like my mom. This neighbor was trying to give away their dog, and my mom took him. They didn't want the dog anymore, and my mom took him, and she brought him here. And like every day, I would sit in front of this TV, a TV that was here, not this one, but TV that was here, and every fucking either Monday or Thursday. I think Thursday was WWF, and Monday was NWA Raw, and I would sit here every Thursday and like watch the fights and like get excited and get pumped and be like, yeah. And I did that, and the dog was here and he bit me because I got excited, and I was like, nah, he gotta go.
This dog doesn't like wrestling. He needs to leave, Mom.
I can't get excited every Thursday. This happens every Thursday night, baby. Okay, you've gotta go.
So your mom got rid of the dog.
Actually, but actually the dad came home. It was the mom that got rid of the dog, and the dad came home and the kids were crying. And so the dad was like, yo, let's get that dog back. You can't do that. Like, the kids were like a mess.
Wait. He got rid of the dog, and then the kids freaked out, so he's like, I gotta take it back.
The wife, the wife got rid of the dog. And then when
mom's like, I'll take it.
Well, she's not gonna. My mom will take in anything and anyone. That's the problem.
Hey,
my mom would take in anything and anyone, so she probably felt bad and was like, "Oh, I don't want this dog to be in the street," or you know what I'm saying, like, or not know where it's gonna go. And we loved dogs here. We always had dogs until that one, and I hit it with the people's elbow. I said.
Do you smell?
But and then the dad came home from work. That's what it was. And then the next morning he told my mom, like, you know, he needed the dog back, and my mom was like, no problem.
It's interfering with Ashlyn's ring time. It's interfering with Ashlyn's ring time.
Oh, your daughter's a wrestler? No. She watches wrestling.
Very invested.
Yeah, very
invested.
Yeah,
I keep telling her she needs to focus more of her efforts on Chyna. She needs to be supporting Chyna, but she's all about The Rock.
Yeah.
Yo, we need to.
My little anti-feminist daughter over there.
Yo, did your sister ever get into wrestling at all? She was still stuck on Mickey
My
Mouse.
sister watched the fucking news to go to bed. I'm telling you, if a girl likes Mickey Mouse, run.
Yo,
run.
I have some relatives that have like I got this one, like, he's like, I guess my cousin technically through marriage, I think, whatever. He's got like Mickey Mouse tattoos or like Disney tattoos. He's got like a Tigger on his calf and like
Who
a
hurt
fucking,
him? Who hurt him?
I don't know enough of the dark past.
Yeah.
But something happened. Something happened.
Those people never grow up.
There is a childlike wonder to him. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And they got kids. He's got kids. So, yeah. He's different. He's cool.
Yeah.
But
my sister's hella cool. Hella fucking weird. My sister's very cool, but there's just something about people like that.
But it runs the gamut too, though. Like it's not just like people who get like the tattoos and shit. Like my dad's told me about like CEOs, fucking top level guys, where they like, yeah, we go twice a year to Disney World. Like you have the money to like put more than enough money to go on vacation, put your kids through college, making well over, 6 figures, and you're choosing like Disney Kingdom, like the tourist. There's something wrong. Like,
well, it's just
I don't get it.
It's like out of all the vacations, out of all the things you can do, you're making bread. Out of all the things you can do, you're going back to Disney twice a year. Twice a year? It's not like every 5 years, we go back to Disney. We miss it. We like the magic about it.
Or when anytime new kids in the family turn a certain age, we all go. You know what I mean? Like, like if I ever had kids, like I feel like you have to take them to Disney World, right? Like,
no, I mean, that's the fun part about having kids. You get to relive your childhood. But I don't think you should be reliving.
Right, with like, our kids who are in their 20s and like this. Like, it's just like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very weird.
I'm not going to lie. Like, there's something dark about it.
And then, I don't know if it's dark. I don't think it's dark. There's just something weird about it. I'm just like, weird. It's weird.
But it's, okay, maybe not dark, but like, doesn't it feel creepy to you at all? Like,
no, it just feels... it just feels like that part of someone's brain didn't grow up. You know what I mean? It just feels like everybody I know that likes Disney like that, there's always something about them. And when people are like, you have a childlike energy and you love to have fun. It's not that. It's more like there are decisions you make that an 8-year-old wouldn't. It's always like those people have that, just that thing where you go, a 9-year-old should run your life. Like, you should hire a 9-year-old assistant.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess there is something like
But there's something weird about also, and this is like...
Here we go.
This is like... Because I know someone's going to say, you're shaming them, right? It's like...
Who gives a fuck? These are not marginalized people.
Also the people I'm about to say, there's also like this resurgence of boys... men, let me fix that. Men who have like Pop Funkos in their house. Have you seen that shit?
Wait, what goes in their house?
Pop Funkos. You know what those are. I'm gonna show you them right now. Maybe I'm saying them wrong too. They're probably called Funko-Pops.
Oh, yo. Don't.
Funko-Pop. I think that's what they're called.
People. Okay, go ahead.
There's this resurgence of men who are like 30 and have these, of a wall full of these. And don't get me wrong, it's not like it's real action figures. Like, like there are some people who got like super dope, like X-Men, like a super rare X-Men and a super rare T-Rex. And you're just like, all right, that's cool. Like, instead of going out for like 5 weeks and getting wasted, you got something really cool. That's fine. But then when they have the whole wall or like a whole room, you're just like,
where's your furry outfit? How often do you have to take that to the cleaners?
I'm just like,
that's what I think when I see a wall full of those things.
I'm like, does your mom still give you a permission slip to go out?
Right.
Like, what? Are you okay? Like, Are you okay?
How much anime porn are you watching?
Yes.
Like, how much weird tentacle stuff are you watching? Because that's what I'm thinking. And I see, like, and I don't
mean to shame them. I just honestly...
I do.
for the life of me, I can't understand it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, there are some people who have, like, classic cars, right? Like, my uncle who was in Vietnam, in the Vietnam War, he has, like, classic cars, classic trains, but
Right.
he doesn't have, like, these are fucking toys that are worth nothing, and, like, I don't get, people don't even play with them, too. It's just,
Right,
like,
they just sit there, sometimes still in the box.
a lot of times still in the box.
Yeah.
But there's something weird. There's something weird.
I think it feeds into the collector's mentality, right? So like somebody who just like they like the idea of having a complete set of something.
Mm-hmm.
So like if they have like their favorite comic book or their like I've even seen those toys with like Pulp Fiction where it's John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Oh, they do them for everybody.
For fucking everything, right?
They do them for everybody. They got the Avengers.
Right.
They got dogs. They got everything. The
Right.
Pixar. They got everything.
It's
Tupac, Biggie. They have everything.
yeah. I don't when I see that shit and you know what's funny? If I see someone who's just got like 2 of them, I'm like I still have like some I'm like, okay, there's like certain things you're probably into. But like when I see a lot of them, I'm like, now we're in the dark world. Now we're in the dark
All right,
world.
if you have,
when
like,
you have a wall,
when you have like 1 or 2, and I'm like, oh, what's that? And
you're
it's
into
like
light BDSM.
not even. If you got like a Tupac or like a LeBron James,
Okay.
or, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Or like, but if it's cartoony, I'm like, what childhood trauma do you have?
Yeah.
Let's open it up.
Well, what's gonna be
You're safe with me.
What's gonna be weird is like when people like that have kids, like when they're older, right? Is like if you're really into that shit, right? Like just traditional good old Catholic, the birds and the bees,
Yeah.
right? You have to have the birds and the bees talk. But when you're one of those people who you have kids, it's like the birds, the bees, and the tentacles. You know what I mean? There's like, what's this other stuff? And you're like, well, there's a whole world of Japanese animation where monsters are having sex with other monsters and humans.
Well, the birds, the bees, and don't touch my pop Funkos. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like weird like that.
Right.
Like there's you're just like, oh, this is where you're choosing.
Like those, like that dad, like the classic dad would be like, son, here's your first Playboy. But like now it's like, son, here's a hard drive full of hentai.
I don't know what weird path you're on. I don't know if China had porn, so you're just on that route.
No, I'm just because I thought we were talking about like the weird shit that those people with those little figurines are into.
But
and
I
I'm
don't
saying,
even. But I wouldn't even say that they're all into weird sex like that. I think that's. I think it's
well,
more.
you're right.
Childhood trauma. Like you're
well,
going,
some of it, yes. Some of it, yeah.
I think you're going more like forward. You're like, oh, if they're into this, then they're into this. I'm like, if they're into this, this happened.
Right?
You know?
You're trying to think of how they got there, and I'm like, where are they now and in the
or
future?
where are they going?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about like, if you're here, what happened here? Like,
Right.
what was the thing? And it's and like we were talking with my sister. It's like my sister watched the news to go to sleep, like at 16. Yeah. I'm like, where are the bodies? You know what I'm saying?
Like, why do you love this darkness so much?
And like the darkness, and then Mickey.
I know.
It's just like. It's just like you're a fucking weirdo.
There's
you know?
something. Yeah, what conspiracy are you like putting together right now?
Yeah. It's fucking. I'm telling you, there's something weird about people like that, and I feel bad. But I'm like, dude, I'd rather see a Cuban link on your neck, and knowing that you can't afford it, right? Than seeing a wall full of fucking Funko-Pops. I'm sorry to sound that ignorant, but that's how I feel.
Like, you'd feel more comfortable with like a shoe collection someone couldn't afford, like of like nice sneaks, like in like Nikes and shit, over Funko-Pops.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'd feel more comfortable in a house with someone who's like really into hot sauces and had like a lot of different hot sauces over someone who had a lot of 100%.
Funko-Pops. Because I'm just like. To me, I'm like, oh, you're an adult. You like to add sauce to your wings. Okay, but you also like to have different sauces.
Right.
But then when we go to Pop Funkos, I'm like, so you're an adult that likes Pop Funko. Like, we're not moving forward. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're an adult that likes Pop Funkos. Okay. What else is childish of you? What other shit are you into?
Right.
And like,
and I don't want to see the rest of your house.
yeah.
I don't want to see any more of your home. I'm good.
I'm like, so, do you still share a bedroom with your mom? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just fucking weird.
Do you sleep upside down dangling from the ceiling?
And you know what? I haven't met anyone cool that has Pop Funkos like that.
So please
Yeah,
break that
yeah,
for us.
yeah,
Change our
exactly.
mind. Change my mind. Stop making me think that you're into weird anime, BDSM, whatever. You eat all your food out of a tube and all the weird shit that I think that you do because you have a wall of Pop Funkles.
If you are a cool person and you have a Pop Funko, if you have a wall.
But yes.
If you have a wall.
A healthy collection. Right.
An unhealthy collection. If you have an unhealthy collection,
sure, an unhealthy collection.
And you're
I meant
cool,
healthy. Yes, okay, yeah.
And you're cool. You meant healthy in the in the
yes,
quality.
Yeah.
If you are cool, message us.
Right.
Let me see your Instagram.
Please.
Send me a video.
Right.
Send me a video
of your human Instagram, not your avatar, not your creep one, not your Funko Pop one, because we know you have a Funko Pop one.
Yeah.
I do unboxings of all of my Funko Pops.
Yo, you play like that, but there's a 10-year-old who's a millionaire.
Right, doing that on YouTube right now.
I'm serious.
Oh, I know. My nephew watches this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, or my cousin. He's not my nephew.
Yeah. Money. So I'm willing to unpack some Pop Funkos
I'm going to
too.
start doing some unboxings of my own.
Of your toys.
What should I do unboxings of?
Like anal beads.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Like lube.
Yeah. Like just
This
cool
is my
new
favorite
toys.
lube because it also tastes good.
Right. Yeah. Oh, look
Yeah.
at this butt plug. It's also a horse tail. Yeah. Nee. Nee. This is for home. Yeah.
I mean, we started with Chyna. You didn't like it? Get out.
Yeah. If you can't handle the China heat,
If you can't handle
get
the
out
porn
the
heat.
ring. Can you smell what Ash is cooking?
Yo, you play. But I love The Rock. And I said that plenty of times.
Right.
I said that plenty of times.
Was there any crushy vibes with him at all with you, like when you were younger?
There was crushy vibes, but it was just like, I don't know. I mean, there were crushy vibes, definitely.
Right.
But I also remember, do you remember the Hardy Boys?
Like the book? Like the
No,
books?
no, the wrestlers, the Hardy Boys. It was Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy.
Yes.
And they were brothers, and they had crop tops, and they'd be like, they did that all the time. You remember them?
Yeah.
Do you remember the girl they used to be with, Lita Hardy?
No.
Well,
no.
she came after Chyna did all of that, because Chyna did the being like Triple H and Shawn Michaels' bodyguard.
Okay.
Like in 95.
Okay.
Like in 95. When you watch the documentary, it'll show
Right,
you.
right. Okay.
It will tell you things that you probably knew but didn't remember. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Chyna started that where the guys would have a stronger girl that would jump in and fight, and they always had remember they would have women, but they would distract the ref and be like, ooh.
Yeah.
But Chyna was the first one that got in there and got dirty. And then Lita was there, and I remember Lita used to have these pants that were under her waist, and then she had the thong coming over. I loved Lita.
Now I want to see her. Can you pull up a picture of her? I gotta see a picture of her.
But back then, I didn't know. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't know. I'm just she's fucking badass, Lita Hardy. And I think she was Spanish. Look at her.
Oh, hell yeah.
Look at her.
Oh, yeah, I remember her. Okay. Yes.
And remember, they would do the hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Remember that era where they their pants were low and then their thong was up?
Yup.
Yeah, that's her era too. That's
Type
what she
of
was
girls
doing.
I'd bring home to Carol. Lita Hardy.
Poor Carol. You leave Carol alone.
I wonder who
huge
Carol
fan
would be
of Carol.
more upset in me bringing home. If I brought home Chyna or Lita Hardy.
I think she'd be happy just if you brought someone home.
I come home and Chyna's holding me.
She'd just be like, someone needs to.
Yeah. I'd love it. I'd be so down with that.
Yeah. That's so funny. But yeah, I was into her. And I didn't even know it. And then when I was older, I was
Right.
oh, yeah.
Right. That's so great. That's so funny.
Did you have a girl crush on wrestling? Or a man crush? I don't mean to take it away from you.
Yeah. The only female wrestler I remember was Chyna. And, like, I just remember thinking, like, yeah, I mean, she's huge. You can kick my ass, but I'd be down.
Yeah.
I'd be into that. I feel like that wasn't something guys... I mean, I say guys. I was a kid. But, like, I was probably in, like, middle school when all this shit was happening, right?
How old were you when you were watching it, though? Because I think you were pretty young.
Well, when I was, like, really into it, when I was too young to even, like, remember the shit. I just saw, like, a guy with a snake and was like, cool, and a guy with a...
Yeah, I think I was into it, like, 9 to, like, 13.
Yeah,
so you kind of start having crushes, you know? You, like, appearances start to look good to you, I think.
Right.
But then you're just, like... Everything is just like fight. Like it was about whose finishing move you liked. Like more when you're younger like that.
Yeah.
And then you start to get a little bit older and you have crushes and then I think,
Yeah, I felt like, like I was like in like middle school going into like high school, I think when like the Chyna thing was like going on. And I just was never, I felt like it wasn't something where guys like, no guy ever came in and was like, Chyna's so fucking hot. There was like a couple of dudes, but they were black dudes, and they didn't care. They were like, "Yo," they would talk about how hot Chyna was, but then like most
I should have
other
been
dudes,
one of those dudes. I let Chyna down.
I should have been like the wide receiver Isaiah Williams from Bergen Catholic, screaming about how hot Chyna is.
I'm really disappointed in myself.
I love how last week it's like you feel bad about. Like the weird about not being more gay pride, and now at this week it's I didn't have Chyna's back when she needed me. I wasn't there for her.
This is just
in her
where
time of need.
This is like my confession. Like I feel guilty about things.
This is my audio letter.
Yeah.
To Chyna.
If you were a wrestler, what would your wrestling name be?
Ooh. I feel like I come from like because I love that era of like hack shit.
Yeah.
So like probably like Chris the Piss, and I just like pee on you, or I have like a bottle that like people think is like piss, and like that's how it like ends. You know.
Anytime I ask you to be a character, you want to like shoot something out of your penis.
I guess I don't have to go by my actual Christian name. I'll do like my middle name's Martin, so I'll be like,
oh, that's a wrestler I want to know.
Yeah,
Martin.
I'll just go by Martin.
You remember the wrestler that had an old lady girlfriend?
No.
Yes. He was this big black dude. I think his name was Martin. Oh, you see, there's another Martin. Dude, I know, like, this is going to be, like, a short conversation, but I have been so fucking riddled with anxiety about, like, the world starting over again.
Yo, me fucking too. Me too. Just, like, moving back into the apartment, and I'm just like, fuck, like, I'm just back, like, just, I'm here. We're in the city. We're doing this. Like,
yeah, and then it's, like, I just feel like, fuck, like I want things to start over again. I want things to start up and I want it to go full speed. And I guess like that's the way it should go. Cause if it goes slow,
right.
Yeah, it's like ripping a Band-Aid, right? You just got to fucking do it.
Yeah.
But it just feels so fast. It's like everything is just happening like right now. It's like, I remember everyone being like, yeah, New York will open and things will open. And it'll be like a 60%, a bit of 40%, then a 60, then an 80. Things are 100. I think things are like 200 to me.
Well, companies are like, a lot of big companies are like trying to, like these finance companies apparently are like making a huge push to be like back in the office, 9 to, 8 to 6, whatever the fuck they do.
Yeah.
They want them in there. But then like these tech companies are like, we're just going to be always remote. But then now some of them are going back on that. And it's weird.
Well, some people are doing like 3 days right out of the week. Some companies
right.
are
some
doing
are
like
splitting the difference.
Yeah.
And
it's just like, I'm like, fuck. And I just like, I turned 30 in this quarantine. So like that was a bad time to stop. Cause it's like, I feel a little rusty coming back in.
Yeah.
I feel like my spirit needs like an oil change, you
yeah,
know?
Yeah.
I feel like my gears to start like, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just been hard.
I know.
It's been super hard.
Well, I think part of it too, now that we're talking about it, I think part of it, at least for me, is like, okay, like, you know, I'm sure a lot of people did, right? It's like, okay, you know, I wasn't in the office 9 to 5 all the time. I was able to kind of like work on hopefully other areas of my life and like, you know, not, at least here in New York, like not be on this grind. Like you have a little bit slightly, in some ways, have a slightly better quality of life in certain regards. And like, I think a part of me is like, am I just about to just, like you said, rip off this Band-Aid and go completely backward, like back to pre-COVID, like in good and the bad? You know what I mean? Like, am I about to go back and just be like, barely sleeping, no time for anything, going nuts, going bananas? Like, is it just, I don't know. You know.
Does it change? Because it's not changing. The hustle is not changing and the grind is not changing. Like, people aren't like, People are not like, we've had a realization that we don't enjoy life that much, so maybe we should all just do 50%. People are like, we had a realization that we're nobody without fucking being busy.
Right.
My thoughts are scary.
I've been waiting for this day.
Yeah.
I know.
It's like a part of me, and I this is a joke, of course. I'm like, can we just get like a little mild variant? You know, like variant that like...
Can we just get a little uptick?
Yeah, just like, you know, just a little bit where we just like calm down a little bit.
Right.
Because we're going full speed, and I just like need a little bit of a yellow light. You know what? I need a yellow light.
Yeah.
I need a yellow light. I'm not saying I need a full red.
Yeah.
There's too many greens. Okay.
I think I feel like part of it is too, and I'm sure so many people have made this joke at this point, but it's like we couldn't like maybe hold this like getting back into it like maybe for like October. Like we got to do this like in June and July. Like we got to do this now in the summer. Like we can't like maybe get one more summer out of this before we fucking
enjoy one more like we all were like school teachers for a summer, you know? We were all kids again. You know when you got the summer off? We were like, and I know, look, we're not making fucking light that people die. We get it, all right? We're not talking about just COVID. We're just talking about the fucking rapid of like coming back.
Right.
We're talking about
talking about the majority of us who survived and are alive and going back to work.
Yeah. No,
So,
make it worse, please. Oh my God. No, but it's just, I'm just like, fuck. Like, just like, I want to be social and then I'm exhausted too. I'm like so tired. I have like 3 things to do in one day and I'm like, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get this done and sleep at night. You're like, shut up.
Do you know what's funny about all this though? I'm totally with you on all of this, but then on the flip side, I get pissed off when I see other people milking the COVID stuff, where like you'll hear someone like make some excuses of like why they can't do something or whatever because of COVID. It's like, bitch, there's no more masks. So whatever you're doing right now is you just being OCD. And I'm like, and I get like mad at them. You know what I mean? But there they are, sort of probably thinking the same thing I am.
Well, here's the thing is that they're not being real about the real problem. You're still talking about COVID and it's like, stop. Like, come up with a new, like, honestly being like, yo, I'm having anxiety. This is just too much for me. I'm going to slow it down. I can't see you this week. I respect that more than COVID is still a thing. I'm like, stop it. Stop it.
I wish this was like, there was like a way where we could all like communicate like kids in school and we could all just like, did you ever have like a class where like the teachers, like they grade the test on a curve? Like, have you ever had that? Like basically where like when they don't grade a class, like if someone just gets an A, they get an A. If someone gets an F and everything in between, your grade.
Yeah.
But when the teacher grades tests on the curve, it's like if the highest grade in the class is like a D, then like the curve is huge. So then like they make it so that like the lowest score or like the highest score in the class is brought to an A. And so then everybody else's scores gets brought up like that same amount.
Like
so,
if the highest score is like a 65, then the 65 becomes the 100.
Correct.
And so like a 35, yeah.
And so now everybody who's under there, so like the trick was always kind of like, yo, they're curving the test. So everybody before a class would be like, yo, just
go low.
go low. But then there'd always be like one fucking douchebag, some fucking smart kid who's like, I'm not doing that. And we're like, and then kids would be like, yo, Eric, if you don't fucking get a fucking D on this thing, like, don't be a fucking hero, like, and all this shit. And they'd be like, Eric got a 101, like, he got the bonus, and everyone's like, "Dah!" So, like, the curve doesn't go up, so everybody, like, went low, and then it doesn't get brought up. It's almost like...
And you're like, Eric, okay, not a D, a C, Eric.
Come on,
C.
give us just...
A C. Are your parents hitting you?
Right.
Talk to us. Just a C. He's like, I'm not going to do that. We should all study. And you're like...
Motherfucker. Yeah.
You throw a chocolate milk at his face.
Yeah, you'd be so mad at them, right?
Yeah.
So, but like, I wish we could all like do that with like COVID, like with the government, where we're like, all right, yo, just be like mad, like everyone's like, we're mad sick, we got mad anxiety with the mask, and then we wait, we keep the curve low, like keep it up.
Like, yo, everyone say you got a sore throat, but then we all test negative next week. Yeah. Everybody just say you got a sore throat. Say you're barely smelling stuff.
I gotta get tested. Something's up. Say something feels weird after you got the vaccine. But you can't go away. Get the numbers wacky, and then maybe like end of September, October, then we all go back. And now we're like, feeling great, feeling good. Got a pep in my step.
But then I feel like 20-year-olds are like full throttle. Like, it didn't even affect them. Like, I don't know what the fuck they were doing for that whole year, because they have no complaints. They're not like no anxiety, like young 20-year-olds, they're like in their early 20s. They have no complaints. They're like, and once they were quarantined too, it's not like, but they really weren't quarantined. Like, these are ones that quarantined. I feel like it's the age. I feel like this was the wrong age. I feel like 30 and 40 was the
bad
worst
age.
Yeah, the bad age for this.
We're already stuck in the, because the young 20-year-olds are used to having a screen in their face all day. We're like, fuck, like everything's on a screen. They're like, I'm used to this shit.
Or maybe it's just that like our bodies are already starting to slow up
and deteriorate, right? Yeah.
And this like doubled our slow up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this doubled down on the slow up, and I'm like, fuck, like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do it. I feel like life is a young man's game now.
Yeah.
I'm only 31. Yeah, it's crazy.
We're fucked.
Yeah, we're fucked.
We're so screwed.
I like it. I like the like being busy and not having to have thoughts. But it's just like, it's giving me a lot of anxiety. Yeah. It's giving me a shit ton. And I just feel like behind, and then I keep being like, be kind to yourself, be kind to yourself. But then I feel like behind the whole time. I'm like, oh, great. I'm like, great. I'm like, this whole year we reflected on ourselves and healed and took care of ourselves, only to like destroy ourselves again.
Right.
Yeah, we learned nothing.
I've basically just been like, I'm kind of like Russell Crowe in The Gladiator. Like, I'm in the back, like right now, just like getting ready to destroy my body, like just mentally, emotionally.
We were all like, you know what? When we come back, fuck that, okay? It's my life.
Quality of life. Yeah,
I'm going to fucking see my family more. I'm going to see my friends more. I'm like telling people like, oh, I'm sorry, I haven't seen you in a year. I still can't see you. I have 3 shows.
Oh, I'm moving back. I'm about to do stand-up.
Yeah.
Back in the cut, baby.
Oh, no, I can't. No, you can't come have dinner. I have to go see a show that I'm not going to get on ever. No.
It's my night off from stand-up, but I'm too stressed out.
Yeah.
And I'm broke.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
not doing that.
Well, you didn't get unemployment. I did. So I'm balling.
I've been working this whole time, and I got nothing.
I'm going to get a wall full of Cuban links. Yeah. All right. Do you have a would you rather?
I can in very quick time, unless you have one.
No, I don't have one.
Would you rather have the rest of the summer, like with like, like we just said, like chill vibes, like in the summer, like maybe until like October, and then things kind of like open up and like slowly at your pace, or Chyna the wrestler still be alive, but you don't get but you have to be super stressed out, and like things just like open back up like tomorrow, like at the pace they are now.
All right.
Here's your chance.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Chyna's still being alive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to do her right this time. I have to redeem myself.
I just miss her other work.
Her silent films.
Her silent films.